Thank you. Good evening, Deputy Presiding Officer. Thank you for calling me to speak for Scottish Labour tonight. I'd like to congratulate Ms Whittam on securing parliamentary time to debate the issue of deer management. We know that effective deer management is vital to meet our goals for woodland management, for carbon sequestration and for habitat health. We know that, according to Nature Scot, an increase in the national cull of 50,000 deer each year will be needed to meet the targets in the Scottish Biodiversity Strategy. And we know that venison is a lean source of protein and a sustainable food source with the potential to contribute to the nutrition of the nation. So it's very welcome that on Jura they're leading the way, where Argyll and Bute Council have launched an initiative to put wild venison on the school menu. But too often, this native wild protein source is not reaching our plates, and this needs to change. There are challenges at every stage of the venison food supply chain, and that, of course, starts with deer management. As we've already heard, the Common Ground Forum brings together a network of individuals committed to a more collaborative approach to deer management. And this forum is a welcome development because, while there have been good examples of coordination of deer management across boundaries in the past, it hasn't been enough, and the deer population seems to be growing out of control. And in some areas, for instance in my own region in the northeast of Scotland, I hear from constituents that on some estates there's a determined unwillingness by an irresponsible few to cull sufficient numbers of deer because of the income that's generated from recreational shooting. But, Deputy Presiding Officer, when those private pursuits are impacting on our public goods, it can't be allowed to continue. Yet, under the current concentrated pattern of land ownership in Scotland, there's very little a community can do to challenge such irresponsible landowners. That's why I believe we need to see these vast estates broken up where it's found that they're not working in the public interest. And this Parliament has an opportunity, through the Scottish Government's Land Reform Bill, to introduce just such a test. And I encourage all members to support that proposal. But, Presiding Officer, deer cull is only the first step in the process of managing deer numbers, because we must also consider what happens to the carcasses. I've heard mixed reviews of attempts to integrate culled deer back into the local ecosystem. And I've heard shocking reports of deer carcasses being buried. So it's all the more commendable to hear of organisations like Fair Feast, who provide a consistent supply of venison to rural food banks across Scotland. Their venison is butchered and packaged on site to maintain the lowest possible carbon footprint. Their mission is to protect the environment by sustainably managing deer and providing for the community through consistent food bank supply. As a nation, we cannot afford to allow venison to go to waste while people are going hungry. Gone are the days when venison was a preserve of the privileged few. Venison is now for the people, as all our commons should be. Thank you.